So I think there are two really big trends that are in forensic toxicology entwined right now. The rise of novel psychoactive substances, and also the adoption of faster, more sensitive, and more specific instrumentation. Things like time-of-flight mass spectrometry, and triple MS, LC triple MS has become fairly standard in a forensic tox industry. We really need these more sensitive pieces of equipment now because of a rising epidemic in novel psychoactive substances that have an array of different chemical structures, some of them very similar. Identifying what those unknown chemicals are has become very challenging, particularly in forensic toxicology labs that don't have sensitive instrumentation that lets them elucidate that molecular structure. We have seen e-liquids become increasingly more complex, and in some cases, some e-liquids have had as much as 30% ethanol in them. One of the questions that began to roll around in my head when we discovered that some e-liquids have a lot of ethanol in them was, well, what is the impact of that ethanol to somebody who's vaping it? Some of my concern around that originally was really about the standardized field sobriety test, and is it going to impact the protocol that's used for the preliminary breath test and the evidentiary breath test. And then the second series of experiments, we're going to, again, have people vape ethanol, and we're going to collect tissue. The question around that is, if you vape ethanol, is there enough of the metabolites of ethanol that's going to show up in your tissues that could have an impact if you are having to submit for a drug test? If somebody is a regular vapor and they don't know that their e-liquid has ethanol in it because that's not disclosed as an ingredient on the bottle, and then you fail a drug test because you're positive for the metabolites of ethanol, we're investigating is a valid reason for you having the metabolites in ethanol is because you vaped. One of the things that I think is particularly exciting about the world of forensic science is that it uses advancement of science from other sectors. I think that there's a lot of really good research that has been done, but is certainly advancing because the instrumentation is getting better in the terms of assessing origin. I think really for all of forensic science also is the future holds miniaturization. So I think there's a lot of really good research right now with regards to it's called the lab on a chip. So I think that is also a really significant advancement for forensic science as we're constantly thinking about becoming more efficient, both in process and in cost. So I think the future for forensic science is particularly exciting as we look to what is happening in other sectors and learning how we can apply that to questions we have. I think one of the reasons why it's important for Pittcon and all conferences to, keep the forward path is us coming together and debating what it is that we're doing and having conversations about science, even in this virtual experience. That's how science advances, but that's also how we advance just as humans. And so I'm thankful that folks that run these associations have said, we're going to do this. We're going to continue to be leaders, and we're going to lead through the adversity. I'm going to go to that 100,000 foot level of, we're going to get through all of this together.